Hey everybody, what's up? It's your favorite white boy here. One of the things I've been hearing lately amongst the libtard community, I've been seeing it a lot on social media really, is this idea that nobody can be illegal on stolen land. And what that obviously is it's a Native American thing where they consider this land to be stolen land. Therefore, I guess their assertion is that nobody can be illegal on their stolen land. It's retarded. It's an absolutely retarded notion, just like most libtarded notions are. And I'm going to tell you why. Stay tuned. So I'm going to tell you why this idea that nobody can be an illegal on stolen land here in the United States of America, why this notion is retarded. Since that word's acceptable again, which I actually really appreciate. It's one of the many things that I appreciate Donald Trump doing is normalizing the word retarded again, because I grew up with that word and referring to people and situations and even objects as being retarded, right? It's one of the many words that libtards have objected to and tried to change the language with. For example, the word bum, right? We used to be able to say bum or hobo or even homeless person, but they want to change the language. It's ridiculous. Another retarded thing that they do. Digressing back to my point. They're saying that nobody can be illegal on stolen land. What do you mean? Has anybody actually put any thought into this? Like a lot of things, this is a really basic situation. Keep it simple, stupid, right? People have tried to overcomplicate this. It's not complicated at all. Here's what the Indians or the Native Americans or the indigenous people failed to do, okay? However many years ago, hundreds of years ago, immigrants came over to their land on boats. And they didn't have a plan. I mean, the natives, the indigenous people, the people that were living in what is now known as the United States of America, they didn't have a plan. They didn't have border security. They didn't have an immigration agency or something like, oh, I don't know, what do we call it nowadays? ICE, border protection. They didn't have none of that. They didn't have a wall. They didn't have any of it. And they lost their land. Yeah, they lost it all. I don't even think they really tried to keep all these immigrants from settling in their country. And look what happened. Look what happened. Isn't that something? So what these libtards are asserting with their little no one can be legal on stolen land, what they're asserting is that because it happened in the past, because the natives failed, they didn't have a policy in place. They just let immigrants come and take their land is what happened. They didn't have forces. I mean, they had warriors, right? I hear about it all the time. Oh, the natives, they're warriors. They're high-spirited, powerful, spiritual people. They should have been able to stop these people then, right? If they would have had some policies, some immigration policies, because they're powerful, strong warriors, right? But they didn't. They failed. And what the libtards are asserting with their stupid no one can be illegal on stolen land is that we should just go ahead and keep it going, right? Because the natives effed up. We should just keep it going all throughout the world and everywhere now. It's like, how many kids have been ran over in the United States of America? Why not just keep the trend going, right? I'm sure hundreds, maybe thousands of kids per year are ran over in the United States of America. Well, it happened, so we might as well just keep the trend going, right? I mean, let's not enforce it. It's already happened. Let it keep happening. No big deal. It happened in the past. Just keep it going, right? It's ridiculous. It's retarded. This idea that just because the natives failed at immigration, the United States of America should now just let the same thing happen. Just let all these immigrants, which is what the Europeans were hundreds of years ago, who came to this land, and then those immigrants became settlers, right? And those settlers took terrible advantage of the situation, kind of like the Somalis did over there in, Minnesota, right? Taking terrible advantage of the situation. Some of the natives, I guess, were nice to the immigrant/settlers. And what did the settlers/immigrants do? Took terrible advantage. The United States of America was very nice to these pirates, Somalis, who came over here. And what did they do? They took advantage. That's what happens when you don't exercise your plan for border security and immigration and the law that is in place that needs to be enforced, and you just don't enforce it. What do you think is going to happen? The natives didn't even have any of that in place. If they would have, I would have liked to think they would have enforced it. If I was in charge back then, I'd have been like, if they show up on our shores, schwack them. Arrows to the head, just like those people over there in Southeast Asia. They got this island, I think it's the North Senegalese island or something like that. You show up on the shores of that island, you're getting arrows to the head, chief. Arrows to the chest, arrows to the heart. They don't want you there. They're gonna schwack you right quick. That's what the natives should have done when they seen these white boys show up on the beach. Or brown, well, I guess the Spaniards were brown, right? Christopher Columbus, he was Italian, I think. He might have been a little brown skinned too. I think it was Mel Gibson that did a movie, Apocalypto or something like that. And then in this movie, it was it was hundreds of years ago where I think it was the Aztecs or the Mayans, I forget which one. But, they liked to take they like to go hunt down people who were living simple lives out in the jungle. They'd gather up hundreds and thousands of these people and they'd bring them over to this temple and they'd sacrifice them to the gods. It's this stupid, just like the Christians and the Muslims it's all stupid. All these make-believe gods, they're sacrificing thousands of people to these make-believe gods. And in this movie, they're hunting this one particular male native that was living out in the jungle, and this civilization, this Aztec or Mayan civilization's hunting this guy, whatever, early 20s is what he looked like. But it got to a point where they chased him onto a beach, and then everybody stopped dead in their tracks. The pursuers, the antagonists, and the guy who was being chased and they were trying to capture the protagonist, they all stopped dead in their tracks. Because all of that problem that was going on, this guy that was about to get captured and get sacrificed, and these guys that were trying to capture him so they could sacrifice him, all of those problems became nothing compared to what they just saw when they went onto that beach. Was the I want to say Spanish ships were about to, they either were about to come on shore or they did come on shore. And right then and there, if I was them natives, I'd have been like, whoa, hold the phone. We need to go alert everybody and start killing these people. Kill them, right? And maybe history would have turned out differently. I don't know. That should have been their immigration policy. Should that be our immigration policy in modern times? Obviously not. This is a different age now. We're more civilized now, right? We're not sacrificing people on temples to the sun gods or whatever their deal was that they were doing back then. But back to my point, the United States of America has immigration law for a reason. And that reason is so that things like what happened with the Native Americans do not happen to the sovereign country known as the United States of America. And it's so crazy to me that there's people out there who it's almost like they want the USA to be destroyed by these people who were coming here and refusing to assimilate. And they want to make this place just like it was back home, because that's what happened to the natives, right? The folks who came over here from Europe, they didn't assimilate. So we don't care about you guys. We're going to do what we want to do. We're going to start doing the same crap we were doing back home. We're going to do it here. And that's what these immigrants. I don't have a problem with immigration per se, as long as it's done legally, right? Because we've got a system in place to try to prevent people from coming over here and making this country their country like it was back home. That's kind of the point of the system, is that we don't get taken over, right? So just to reiterate back to my original point, no one's illegal on stolen land. It ain't our fault that the natives failed when it came to immigration policy. Let's not repeat that history. How about that? You ever thought of that? Maybe we should give that a try. But no, the libtards with their retarded thinking, well, it happened in the past, might as well just keep that mistake going, right? No one's illegal on stolen land. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. We have immigration policy now. We have border security now. We're not going to make the same mistake that these natives made. We're going to secure our country, and we're not going to let the outsiders come in and take over. Okay? Have a great night. If you have anything to add to this discussion, please put it in the comments.